I've always wanted to see the wall.
Tyrion Lannister, Queen's brother.
The greatest accomplishment. You're Ned Stark's bastard, aren't you?
Did I offend you? Sorry. You are the bastard, though.
Lord Eddard Stark is my father.
And Lady Stark is not your mother, making you a bastard. Let me give you some advice, bastard. Never forget what you are. The rest of the world will not. Wear it like armor. It can never be used to hedge.
You know, this particular scene in Game of Thrones is probably one of the best scenes that most people, certainly myself as well, have seen, that is very educative as far as you watching Game of Thrones with the intention of learning is concerned. But it doesn't matter the intention. The messages like this still pops out and shouts at you when you watch any film. So I think this particular form of thought that Tyrion Lannister is passing across to Jon Snow has been articulated in very different forms. In fact, to a great extent, it has become somewhat of a cliche now, because people very quickly interpret it to mean that you have self-esteem. You own the bad things about you and you own the good things about you, so that people don't use them against you without your own knowledge, something like that. Something in that realm of thought. But I think about it in a way that concerns, I think about it in terms of a naming ceremony. It's like when you have to define yourself. When you name things into being, then you know what to do about it. So, because when you remain unnamed, when you remain uncategorized, when you remain undifferentiated, it gives the opportunity for the world, and when I say the world, I mean the people in the world, the onlookers, to do with you what they want, to define for you who they think you are. And then if you have an undifferentiated idea about yourself or undefined idea about yourself, then you really don't know what to do about those perspectives or those opinions from outsiders, because first of all, there are too many. Secondly, they are more likely to be different perspectives, since they are coming from different people. And then they are more likely to, it's more likely the fact that it will not be polite. And if you are someone who is naive and undifferentiated, then it's more likely the fact that it will hit you with a negative emotion rather than a positive emotion, because the world in itself and the people who dwell in it and the way they interact is primarily not as you would expect. The way people would expect it to be is to be kind and nice, but unfortunately that's not the case. Not to say that people go around with the intention to be malicious, but sometimes people get stressed. People sometimes don't pay enough attention. People don't care most of the time. So it usually comes off in a way that it leaves you with a bunch of negative emotions rather than the opposite of that. So because of that point of view, I think about it in terms of differentiation, in terms of naming. So I think the point for me that I will take from this is, when you have a concrete name for yourself, when you know how to define your position for yourself in the world, you have a singular definition of who you are, then whatever definition the world throws at you, you have something at least that you can contrast the incoming opinion with. And then it has to be solid enough in a way that it stands the test of time, it stands the test of strength. And then if it's not a worthy opinion, or it's not a worthy perspective, in a way that you can find it useful in a way that you can integrate it into the current one you have, then it can just bounce off. Because having an opinion about yourself, or having a definition or a name for who you are, in itself is not enough. It has to meet certain criteria so that it becomes useful. So I think about it in that direction. So it's quite something to see when people try to articulate this particular idea, because you have to know who you are. I think the journey of knowing who you are is a lifelong journey, but the earlier you have a concretized version of that idea, something, a foundation, let's say, something to build the rest of the idea upon, then you will always be confronted by the opinions of people and the malicious intent of people, and even good intentions that might end up awry and destructive, because it is certainly the case that even the greatest harm can come from the best intentions. So sometimes even the best intentions can still turn out to be bad. So, well, in conclusion, you have to name yourself, you have to define your category, you have to be differentiated, so that the perspectives, the overwhelming perspective of the very different and many people in the world doesn't crack you, doesn't wound you in a way that you put your face down and forget how to raise it up.